Hey cinema fans, welcome back to another movie review. Today we got Venom. Venom is about the symbolic relationship between man and alien, with the latter being the gross one. It's funny but hilarious at times, but I have to say Tom Hardy brings his A game in this film. To put it in other words, if you're a fan of Tom Hardy, you're going to love this film. The first half of the film does a great job of setting the tone, the story, the characters, and building upon the Venom universe, if you will. But I've always had my theory that we've already seen this universe before, but that's for another video. The first half does a great job of putting you in the perspective of a very compelling, unique situation, again, between a relationship with man and alien, Venom. But the second half really kind of takes a back step with the story and kind of goes straight into the action, where that's where I think few of the flaws lie in the film. But overall, it does land very well at the end. It pieces it together very well. And I think that's where the film truly shines. It has that 90s style of filmmaking where the first half is nothing but story and character development, and then the second half is straight into the action, and that's that. Basically, it's a cool story of an anti-hero, even though in the comics we were introduced to Eddie Brock and Venom. We're introduced to the symbiote through Spider-Man, but when we got to the Venom Eddie Brock character, he was way more menacing and villainous. In this film, it kind of takes a back step from that and goes more into the lethal protector kind of route for Venom, if you know the comics. But I mean, I enjoy this version of Venom. I prefer this over the Spider-Man 3 Venom any day of the week. But I mean, there's some people that love that Venom for some reason. But I mean, besides all that, I mean, yes, it doesn't have Spider-Man in it, even though I think the third one we might see Spider-Man or some version of Peter Parker in the Venom universe, even though, like I said, I believe this is a universe we've seen before. But again, another video. But overall, I just love this film. The antagonist is really just a typical villain wanting to do bad, like we see in other superhero type films. But it really, the strongest part of this film is the bonding and relationship between Eddie and Venom, and how they grow together and become one, and a more of a bigger powerhouse when they're on the same page and fighting together. Meanwhile, the side characters are just there to serve the plot. I give this film a solid 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching, and follow for more. Peace. So here's my review on Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Overall, this film is entertaining. It's a fun joyride. Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, or AKA Carnage, does an amazing job. Just entertaining, fun. He kills it. Also, you got Tom Hardy as, Eddie Brock Venom. He does it again like the first film. And the whole, brotherhood, or the buddy cop feel of Venom and Eddie and throughout this film, and a little bit of detective work, if you will, but also separation anxiety type feel. I love their chemistry and their bond. It was there in the first film, but they really bring it home in the second film. But here's the main issue with me for this film. It's so damn short. Usually when I want to go see a film in theaters more than once, it's usually because I really loved it and enjoyed it. And I did enjoy this film, and I loved it. But if it's a long film like Doom Part 2, even though Doom Part 2 is my favorite film of the year, it's a very long film. And it's a big ask to go to the theater again to go watch the film for a long time. Now granted, us cinema fans, that's not an issue. I mean, shit, I went to go see the Dark Knight Trilogy for the whole day in a theater. So going to see this film a couple more times, 3 or 4 times, it wasn't a really big issue going to go see it again with my friends and whatnot, because it was very short. And again, I'm not complaining, but it does take away from the story a bit. Granted, some films, if it's longer, it really hurts the film because they're spending too much time on a certain scene or a certain side B plot or whatnot. But the problem with this film is that it needed more time for, at least for the villain, Cletus Cassidy, Carnage, to have a little bit more stakes involved. Like, it didn't feel, I mean, there were stakes there, but it went by so quick that you couldn't really give time for the audience to really, like, I don't know, like, to sit with that. Like, let it, like, organically develop throughout the film. Instead, we're just going to A, B, C, D. Like, it just, you know, that was my main issue. Even though it's an entertaining film. Don't get me wrong, it's very fun and very fun to watch. And, you know, it's a great addition to the Venom series. But at the same time, the shortness of this film, you know, size does matter sometimes. And so this film, yeah, it needed to be a little bit longer. Pause. No diddy. But overall, besides all that, I think it's a badass film. If anything, I look at the Venom trilogy like the Iron Man trilogy. Like, the first film was really great. The second film was kind of, it wasn't as good as the first, but it's okay. It's definitely a guilty pleasure for a lot of, like, film fans and Venom fans for sure. But in the third film, which we'll save that for later, yeah, it kind of does the same thing like Iron Man 3 does, where it's really good. It's better than the second one. Not as good as the first one, but or some people might argue it is better than the first one, but we'll see. But yeah, I love Venom, Let There Be Carnage. I just wish that we had more time with Carnage and let him actually be Carnage, you know. But overall, I love this film. I'll give it a good, like, 7.8 out of 10. But yeah, that's my review rating of Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Thank you for watching. Follow for more cinema fans. Peace out. This film, it just, you know, was so fucking epic. This film, from beginning, middle, and end, had me smiling to ear. I was at the edge of my seat. I was so entertained. I was definitely hooked in from the start. Even a moment where I almost shed a tear. Like, it has everything you would want in the Venom film. It was it was full of action. The writing, I think personally, was pretty good for a Venom film. And definitely way more fleshed out than it was in Let There Be Carnage. There was time for the characters, the side plots, and other side characters to finally, like, breathe and let their story be fleshed out throughout the film, so there's a good payoff at the end of the film. Tom Hardy does a great job once again as Eddie Brock, and also Venom as well. And you definitely get this road trip, brotherhood, bond, buddy cop road trip type film. The vibe is there, the bromance is there, the chemistry is there. Everything about it is just, if not way better than the past two films. They really take what's great about those two and definitely do so much more for them, but also let it be fleshed out way more in this film. And you can definitely feel the love between these two as, you know, brothers and, you know, buddies, best friends, you know, life partners, if you will. Now, I will say there's a lot to talk about when it comes to Null. Oh, Null. Null was fucking awesome. All my Null fans, you're gonna fucking love this film. I'm sorry for cussing, but, like, Null is what, bro. You know, Null fan, Null, look, this is the era and time for Null. We need more Null. After this film, I want more of Null. You know, besides all that, I really look at this film and the whole trilogy of Venom, and I have to say it's a lot like Iron Man in a way. Like I said in my Let There Be Carnage review, that the first film was widely loved, and it was amazing. The second one was kind of a step down, and then you had The Last Dance, where it's kind of divided. Like, some fans love it, some fans hate it. People are in the middle of it. I'm one of the fans that love this film, so it definitely reminds me of a lot of the Iron Man trilogy. And honestly, I know Spider-Man being not present in this film technically, or in the trilogy, even though we have Tom Holland somewhat show up in a way at the end of the second film, but, like, you know, I'm glad that we have this trilogy so we get to experience Venom and the lore of Venom and everything around that as a fan, and for even casual viewers and fans that haven't had that experience with Venom yet. So I appreciate this trilogy. I appreciate this film, and Tom Hardy and everyone involved that made all 3 films. And yeah, and it has a special place in my heart. And I'm going to have to see this film again to get a real official rating. I know I gave it a 9 out of 10 on Twitter, but I don't know if I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10 right now, because I kind of want to rewatch it again. Because there is some issues in the film. Don't get me wrong. It's not a complete peak, like, masterpiece. There is some issues in the film that I can't really get into because of spoilers. But, like, yeah, I would definitely, if not, give this like a 8.5 out of 10, 8.2. But I have to rewatch it again to really give it a real official rating. But yeah, I love this film. Definitely going to be added into my Blu-ray and 4K collection for sure. I truly recommend it if you're just a Venom fan, casual Marvel fan, Spider-Man fan. Please go check this out. You're going to have fun. It's a great weekend film to hang with the homies and, you know, your girlfriend or whatever, family. It's just a fun ride, and I love this film. And yeah,